Hello, and welcome to another conversation in the Trends series. This episode is brought to you in partnership with Travel Daily News Asia Pacific. I'm with Yang Li, Head of Public Affairs at Booking.com. We're at part of Travel Mart 2025, and you are watching Trends. Yang Li, thanks for being with us today at the Trend Studio. How are the bookings at Booking.com for this year and the outlook for next year across Asia Pacific?
The short answer is a lot of people are still booking with us, and it's obviously good news for us. And I think perhaps surprisingly, we're still seeing good year-on-year volume growth, despite all the geopolitical and various different conflicts that are happening around the world. We're still seeing positive growth. People still want to travel, particularly for Asia Pacific. We still see, primarily through our platform, a large degree of Europeans, the Brits, the Americans, the Germans are still coming in droves to Asia Pacific, particularly Japan, Thailand, and Korea as well. We see strong traffic, and that composition has somewhat remained relatively stable over the years, and I think this year's no exception, actually.
I was talking to somebody at a trade show a couple of weeks ago, and they baffled me in that they said, okay, online bookings have seen the demise of traditional travel agents and the brochure, where 30 years ago I'd go into a retail travel agency in London, book a holiday, and I'd be flicking through a brochure. That's gone, and we've gone online and we're booking at Booking.com, and we've got the world at our fingertips, and it can be booked near instantly. They were actually saying that Gen Z is driving a resurgence of printed brochures, like glossy brochures that aren't the old style of tour operator brochures, but just selling a destination, and they're going back to operators for that face-to-face consultation. Have you seen that happen, or what's Gen Z doing with Booking.com?
Yeah, I mean, so for us, I think that may be the case. I don't want to dispute
There's
what
only
you've
one person
heard. Okay.
That, so.
That may very well be what's happening, but for us, I think at the end of the day, what we understand our customers and what they care about is choice. And honestly, when you look for an accommodation, you want to be able to compare. You want to be able to look at prices. You want to be able to compare amenities. And for that, I think the online medium is here to stay. It's definitely not going away. But I do think that in Gen Z, there is a hearkening back to a bit of the olden days. But I think one thing that we need to make clear is that Gen Z is very active online. They're all over TikTok, they're all over Instagram, so they're not just, abandoning these tools. I think they're very much leveraging these tools, but maybe they're combining them with a bit more of the analog things that sort of went out of favor with the millennials. For example, I'm a millennial. I'm unfortunately no longer part of the Gen Z age group. But for me, I'm not a huge TikToker. I'm not a huge Instagrammer, because I think for our generation, we sort of missed out on that social media craze. But we still use digital tools that are more sort of traditional, if you will, booking sites, booking platforms, Google, and the big bulk of what drives our bookings are still people in our age category. But I think Gen Z is now getting to an age where they're starting to travel on their own, not with their families, which, are like siblings that are our age, parents, which are from the boomer generation, which may have booked their holidays for them. So I think as they come online and start booking holidays for themselves, we will see a little bit of shift in preferences and patterns. But I think we're still in somewhat of an earlier stage. So we can't say definitively.
It's interesting, as you're saying that, I sort of was thinking of myself, as a baby boomer, the silver market, an old guy, I book online. If I booked a hotel, I wouldn't know of any travel agent to go to in Bangkok. So I think, you've got the market cornered in that we instantly go to our phone when we want to book a hotel. Now, the thing is this, last week I was thinking, I haven't been on a cruise for decades and decades. And I was thinking about this. I book hotels on booking.com. And can I book a cruise? Do you offer cruises, or is it, what are you actually offering? I know you do, obviously hotels is your core business. Are there any other services that booking.com offers?
Yeah, absolutely. So accommodation is obviously the bedrock of our business, but we actually sell flights now. It's live in 100 plus countries. And that vertical is just growing, and it's growing very rapidly. In fact, it's one of our fastest newly used verticals by our customers. And then the other vertical we now have is cars. So you can actually book a rental car, or you can book an airport transfer, or you can book a ride hail between two destinations. That is actually also a growing vertical, and then. We also have actually now attractions. So you can book tours, you can book visits and experiences. Sorry, that's an Airbnb term, but you can still book that on booking.com. And that's all available on the app. So actually, if you slide through the different tabs, that's all there. Specific to your question about cruise, I think we are potentially looking at how to onboard cruises. So don't quote me, but I think it will be available, fairly soon, I would say. But I don't think it's available now.
But at the moment, you offer everything that I might need for a holiday. Right. The flight, the transportation, and the hotel accommodation, and then attractions and activities.
Yeah.
But where do we stand on the big S, sustainability? So there are certain people at this show that say, yes, it starts a conversation, but it never influences the booking. Are customers influenced by sustainability with booking.com?
I would say the jury is still out on how sustainability and hence I would say sustainability information actually influences bookings. I would say what's difficult is it's very hard for a customer to visualize or fully realize the impact of their choices through an online platform. Because when you book something, and we've tried to quantify and put a number to what the impact would be for particular choices. But as far as most people are concerned, it's very abstract. It's on a screen, and you're told, a number. How that definitely influences a purchasing decision, I think at this stage we cannot make a causal link yet. We cannot say because of sustainability, A, they made a decision B. It's very hard to make that absolute determination. So this also leads to other problems, because I think it also makes hoteliers, accommodation providers, think about whether it is worth the investment, right, to get certified, to invest in sustainable materials and operational processes, which sometimes arguably cost more money. And the answer is that some accommodation partners do not believe it is worth it. But what I'm happy to say is we see more and more accommodation partners do it anyway, because they believe that it is just good practice. And whether it influences a decision or not, they don't necessarily care or are waiting for that metric to be demonstrated before they invest. And what happens that we've seen is that a lot of customers that come to the hotels are sharing their brand stories anyway. What we are doing in terms of linens, what we're doing in terms of our F&B, what are we doing in terms of electric production and usage. They're doing it anyway. Now, whether this translates into repeated bookings, whether it translates into room upgrades, whether it translates into incremental revenues, I think the jury is still out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wellness. So you've got an incredible database of customers. Would you know if many are looking at wellness retreats, well-being, spa packages? Is that coming on the radar now?
Yeah, I think wellness is a sort of an emerging need that we have seen people like to do ever since COVID. So one thing that we've picked up as a trend is this whole business leisure or biz leisure travel. And people like to combine hybrid or remote work with a bit of relaxation and wellness oftentimes. Now, from the customers that actually book specific attractions, which do include some wellness packages, to specific properties that are known to be sort of retreat destinations and sort of known for their wellness amenities, that we can tell. But we don't actually host a dedicated wellness vertical yet. So that is not a specific channel of products that we offer, but we can sort of pull the data to look at, okay, are they buying attractions that are in the wellness category? And are they booking partners and accommodations that are known to host retreats?
And finally, what trend do you see in your sphere of the industry for next year and maybe the next 5 years? Are changes happening because of Gen Z driving and disrupting the market, or are there other trends? What's happening? What do you see?
Yes, that's a great question. So, I mean, the buzzword of the year, which you've heard probably from many conversations, is the advent of AI. Of course, we've been bugged by it as well, and I think we are not the only travel provider who has an AI chatbot. So we actually have a product called the AI Trip Planner. It's powered by ChatGPT. So OpenAI is our partner, and it's a conversational AI that helps to. So I think it's helpful to think of Booking.com as usually a place where customers go once they've known this is the place they want to go.
Exactly, yeah.
So we're now trying to actually move what we call up the funnel to the discovery phase, where you might not know about exactly where you go, but you have certain requirements that you want. So it has to be family friendly. It has to be a summer destination, perhaps with sun, beaches, lots of space, and you converse this with the trip planner, and the trip planner will actually populate a series of options for you, potential destinations for you.
Wow.
And then furthermore, you can ask for specific properties that fit your criteria within that same inquiry, that same query. So it's exactly like ChatGPT, if you've ever used ChatGPT, but specifically focused on travel.
Hyper-personalisation.
Hyper-personalisation. So this is a topic that's been talked about. And so we are starting to offer this. It's available in most of Europe now, and the United States, Australia, and Singapore.
In Asia?
In Asia, in Singapore only, because we are now trying to localize the product with local language support. Because obviously a Thai person talking to it in Thai, they're thinking about things differently than if they were to word it in English. So we want to make sure we get that localization correct before we launch it in the myriad of APAC countries. So that's obviously a huge trend.
Fantastic. Yeah. I'll be watching that. Keep up the great work booking my hotels on booking.com.
Of course.
Thank you for meeting with us this afternoon at Trends at the pop-up studio at Part of Travel Mart 2025. And have a great afternoon, and thumbs up to booking.com. If you're looking at a hotel or you want to book a travel itinerary, get over to booking.com.
Thank you for having me.
Right.
Appreciate it.